Okay, so this video is to show you how to install the SR broadcast indicator that allows you to set support and resistance lines in one window and have them broadcast into any other number of windows. So the first thing we need to do is install the indicator, and we can do that by going to the File menu, going down to Import, Export, Easy Language, and then going to Import Easy Language File. This is assuming that you have already downloaded the ELD from the blog site and you have it somewhere on your hard drive and that you know where it's at. Very important. Once you do the steps I just mentioned, click on Next. Then you're going to go out to that file name. I keep mine on my desktop in the TradeStation code area. Click on Next once you've got it loaded. It's going to show you what's actually in there. There's a couple functions for the global variables, and there's also the indicator. And you'll see exactly what those functions are, as well as the indicator. Click on Finish, and it will show you a little notification about other things, and it will tell you that it's been imported. At this point, in order to make it work, you have to install on the chart. And the concept is you have one window, which you'll use for your support and resistant lines and management from that point forward. And after that you set up your listeners, and you can set up one-to-many relationship. So the first thing we're going to do is set up the broadcasting window, which in our situation is going to be the tick bar, because it's easier to spot the support and resistance lines there. So you're going to right click in your chart, and you're going to choose Insert Analysis Technique, and you're going to look for the Jimmy SR broadcast indicator. Once you've got it selected, click on OK, and you're going to be presented with the default configuration. Now, the default configuration is for the listener mode, and that's because you're usually going to have more listeners than you are broadcasters. So this one we have to make a few changes to. First, we need to set the broadcast to true, and next we're actually going to set the lines, and in this case we're just going to put in a couple as an example. It is a comma separated list surrounded by quotes. Very important that you put the quotes in. On my broadcast window, I do not like to see the labels, so I'm going to set this to false. We don't have to worry about displace labels here because we're not using them. We don't have to worry about label color. I'm going to use dark cyan as my line color, and I'm going to leave the default broadcast variable as SR lines. This is going to be the listening broadcast variable as well. Any listener that you want to have listen to this particular window, you need to make sure that the broadcast variables match. Watch, drag, and drop I'm going to set to true, which allows the window to update any of the listeners if you drag and drop the lines on the broadcast window chart, which is very important. It's kind of nice. And the snap mode will allow it to go to the nearest tick so that you don't have odd numbers, because based on how the windows are sized, you could end up with 1012.72 if you try to move it to 1012.75. So this allows it to automatically correct. Click on OK, and you'll see here that you actually have the lines in place now. Now we're going to move over to our other window, and this is going to become the listener mode. In this particular window, it's going to be the same thing. Right click and choose Insert Analysis Technique. We're going to go up and select the Jimmy SR broadcast again and click on OK. And now in this situation, there's not much we really need to do. It's not a broadcast window. We don't need to set the support and resistance lines. On this one I do want labels because I want to see where the numbers are, since this is going to be my trading chart. Displace labels is the space to the right of the last bar that you want to offset the information from. It's basically just an offset. You don't have to set it if you don't want to. If you want it to be butt right up against the other bars, you can. I like to space it out a little bit. I'm going to leave dark cyan as my label color. I'm going to use dark cyan as my line color. And I'm leaving the broadcast variable the same, SR lines, so that it matches with my broadcast window. Watch, drag, drop, and snap mode on the listener have no use, so you can just leave them alone, no big deal. Click on OK. And now you can see that the two lines that we asked for from the broadcast window are now in play on the subchart. Okay, the next little fun part. What we can do from here is we can always edit the chart, and we'll go to Format, and we're going to change this one to 1011. Click on OK, and we're going to close, and you will see that this window is updated almost instantly. It happens on the next tick. This is after hours, so there is a little bit slowdown in the ticks, but live you'll see it move. Next thing we're going to do is the drag and drop. You'll actually select the line. We're going to use the top line here, and you left click and hold the mouse button down, and you drag it where you want it to go, and then you'll see that the change occurs per next tick on the sub window. It'll actually happen while you're dragging. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this thing up to about 1,012.50. As you can see there by the begin price in the little sub window. And you can see the modification there has occurred, and it's a little bit off screen. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it back down to, let's say, around 1,011. And you can see the change has been made. Release the mouse. Now you're officially updated. And that's pretty much it. Some notes you might want to remember if we come to the format. If, for instance, you wanted to have different broadcasters for different symbols, because a lot of people trade the NASDAQ at the same time as they're trading the ES Minis. If you want to set up a listener and broadcast mode for each of those symbols, the only thing you really need to do differently than we've described here is set the broadcast variable here to something that's unique per symbol. You might want to set SR lines equal to SR lines underscore ES for the broadcaster on the ES side, and set it to underscore NQ for the broadcaster on the NQ side. Then all you would have to do, I'm going to close this window, is go to your listener chart, format your analysis technique here, and then you would change this to ES as well. Do the same type of thing for the NQ side. You can have as many broadcasters and listener groups as you would like to have. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.